Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Commander Vertika Joshi. I'm the skipper of INSV Tarini, the boat that shall be going for an all-women circumnavigation commencing first week of September. So I would like to start with a quote by Mark Twain, which says, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than those by the ones you did do. 4 years back, when I was sitting in my office in front of a computer, and I was just wondering where my life was heading and what is it that I need to do to make it better. And there I saw a signal from the Navy, which talked about, and people from women officers from the Navy to volunteer for Cape Torio race, which happens to occur every 3 years. That was, the time I felt that I was really excited to see that signal from the Navy, and I felt like a dream come true for me, because that's the reason why I thought I had joined the Navy for. I always saw myself going out and not be constrained by the four walls of an office and be sitting in front of a computer. So that was, one dream come true for me, but I had to do something about it. So I immediately volunteered for that, and I took part as part of the return crew for that Cape Torio race, which happened in 2014. I crossed the Atlantic in about 30 days or so. Before I really start with what this Navika Sagar Parikrama is all about, I would like to share with you the history of Sagar Parikrama. This project of Sagar Parikrama is a brainchild of retired Vice Admiral Manohar Avati, who conceptualized this entire idea of Sagar Parikrama and how it should happen. So it was launched in 2007, and thereafter retired Captain Dilip Donde, he undertook the solo circumnavigation, which was the first solo circumnavigation of the globe, and happened in 2009 to 2010. They started, as everything from scratch. We didn't have any history of sailboat building before that in the country, nor we had any ocean sailors till then. So he set a milestone for the generations to come, and the boat was built. The boat's name was INSV Mhadei, in which he rounded the globe. And once he finished that, Commander Abhilash Tomy raised the bar and did a non-stop solo circumnavigation in 2012 to 2013. So this was once he finished his solo circumnavigation. So everybody was like, what next? Now where do we go, and what is it that we are going to do next with it, and how can we this entire experiences of Captain Donde and Commander Tommy, how can we make it better and share with the young officers who are joining the Navy. So then came the idea of formation of an all-women team, which was also the idea given by retired Vice Admiral Manohar Avati. Talking about Sagar Parikrama and INSV Mhadei, I would like to say that it's a purely indigenous project. The boat was built in India, and by Aquarius Shipyard, which is chaired by Ratnakar Dandekar. Some pictures from Sagar Parikrama 1 and 2.
Both of them are present with us today. Dilip Donde and
And thereafter came the idea of an all-woman crew. So how to start that happened in 2014, as I mentioned, when 3 lady officers from the Navy volunteered for the Cape Touré race, and one was each lady officer got to do a leg under this under Captain Dilip Donde, who was that time serving in the Indian Navy, and he became the mentor for all 3 of us. Once this was accomplished, the Navy decided to put more women officers, more and more women officers into force, and in December 2016, February 2016, under the guidance of Captain Dilip Donde being our mentor, 6 of us sailed INSV Mhadei on an independent sortie from Visakhapatnam to Goa. We had to do a lot of training before that, before we could venture into such a voyage. We started from scratch 2 years back, and we learnt over a period of time how to do things on the boat. What if something fails? What if there is an emergency? How to repair the equipment? How to do each and everything on the boat. So all that thing had to be learned from scratch. We came from different backgrounds. 2 of us are ATC officers, 2 education officers, and 2 naval architects. So everything had to be learned from scratch. Whereas if you see in other cadres in the Navy, we are specialized. We have men under us, and we need we are not really as in any area of work which you see, even in civil service, even in civil field, you won't find many people working with their own hands. So this was a great platform to learn everything right from scratch, to do everything on your own, and that's how we formed up. These are some pictures of our previous sorties, which were all undertaken independently. 2016 from Goa to Mauritius and back, then from Goa to Cape Town and back. So all this training was happening on board INSV Mhadei, and INSV Tarini that time was not in picture. So once the Navy decided to launch the all-women circumnavigation, it was decided that a new vessel needs to be built, which would take us around the globe. And this, the vessel named INSV Tarini, she's a sister vessel of Mhadei, and she's also got same historical background as that of Mhadei. Her origins are from Orissa. The boat was also built by Ratnakar Dandekar at the Divar Island in Goa. And once we oversaw the final phases of construction of Tarini, we took her for trials. As you can see, these are some of the design specifications of the boat. She's a 17 meters sailing yacht, 5 meters wide, and she's got a mast 21 meters high. Some snaps from the construction phase. This is just the skeleton of the boat. It's a wood core fiberglass sandwich construction. The keel was laid by Honorable Chief Minister Shri Manohar Parrikar on the 27th of March 2016. So all this, we saw all the phases of construction of the boat, right when she was young to the time she got launched, and to the time she was inducted in the Navy. 18th February, the vessel was officially inducted in the Navy. Once the boat was inducted, thereafter we needed to put her to various trials and take her to various sea sorties, because every boat has got its own behavior. She is a sister vessel of Mhadei, but being brand new, she needed that time at sea. Every boat has got every boat has a little bit of settling time which she needs. So we needed to put her to various sea sorties. We took the boat to Mumbai, which was her first sortie to Mumbai. 3rd of March we set off for Mumbai. Thereafter we took her to Porbandar in April 2017. And then we thought that the boat needed to see more rougher weather conditions. So we decided to take her to Mauritius right before we left for the circumnavigation. So we took her in the month of May and came back with the southwesterly monsoons to test the boat and to do the trials and set up things in place before we could leave for the circumnavigation. To elaborate a little bit upon what a circumnavigation is, it should start and finish in the same port. So we are starting from Goa, we need to come back to Goa. We should not be crossing any canals or straits. We should be crossing all meridians at least once. The equator needs to be crossed twice, and the total distance covered should be greater than the circumference of Earth, which is 21,600 nautical miles. And we should be rounding all the Great Capes. This is the planned route. The route is almost similar to the route undertaken by Capt Dilip Donde in his Sagar Parikrama. We are taking on the same halts. We'll be stopping at 4 places. Our first stopover would be at Australia, Fremantle. So we'll be starting from Goa first week of September and then going south. We cross the equator. We catch the southeasterly trade winds and then head east towards Fremantle. Thereafter, the next stopover would be at New Zealand, Littleton. We'll almost take about 25 days to cover this passage. From New Zealand, we would be crossing the international date line and we would head further east through the Pacific, which is going to be our longest leg. This is going to be, we would be facing some of the roughest seas on the planet are prevalent in this stretch. We need to cross the Cape Horn, which is the southernmost point on the planet at 55 degrees south latitude. Crossing that, we will be taking a halt at Falkland Islands. And the last leg to Cape Town before we come back to India. So the entire circumnavigation per se would take about 8 months' time. Provided we start in September, we intend to finish sometime around May. I would like to leave you with some interesting facts. This is going to be the first military all-woman team to attempt a circumnavigation. Also, the first Asian all-woman team to be attempting a circumnavigation. It's a completely make-in-India project. As I mentioned, the boat is built purely in India. with no external assistance. Thank you. We are open for any questions if you have.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Chief of Personnel, Vice Admiral Chavla over here. All questions can come to him. And thereafter, we have planned one-to-one with the women officers.